Welcome to Late Night Chat with JT and Nico, episode 13, part 2.
One time for them praying on my downfall. 2 times for the homies in the child hall. 3 times for them hoes on the internet shitting on niggas when they really should get out more. 4 times for the days that were all bad. 5 times for the bitches who ain't called back. 6 times for the kids like me who got ADHD just to kidnap a nigga like ISIS. Whoa. Turn the whole world to a crisis. Whoa. Walk around the city with an ice pick. I've been paranoid, usually I ain't like this. Ain't no telling how crazy I might get. Beat the police with a nice stick. In my whole life I've been lifeless. Now I'm so fly.
Alright, welcome back everyone.
Welcome back.
Jay, how's it going?
I'm alive. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. So what have you been watching lately? Anything good? I know that you're a man that watches a lot of TV in his downtime, movies, this and that.
I watch too much TV in downtime. That's all I
Anything worth
do.
mentioning that you've enjoyed recently?
I've been watching all kinds of stuff, man. It's not, they're taking out a lot of things. Seasons have been coming to an end because it's coming to the summer and everything's starting to wrap up. But like I said, I still continue with the Blacklist and that kind of stuff, those regular ones that I do all the time.
Right. Yeah, you've talked about that on the show before.
But also I watched that Netflix movie there.
The Ted Bundy one?
The Ted Bundy one.
Yeah, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, it's called, which is what the judge said to Ted Bundy, I guess, during the trial of his murder case.
That was just a crazy movie. It was actually people don't want to watch it, I think, because they're worried, it's gruesome and stuff like that. But
I also watched it. I really enjoyed it.
They stayed away from that.
played Ted Bundy, which is an interesting choice.
Well, you know what? He actually did a good job, I think.
Great job, yeah.
I think he was a little bit fatter at some points than I think Bundy was, but
I wouldn't say fatter, but normally Zac Efron, they do definitely they show off the fact that he's jacked normally. They didn't really do that as much here. Maybe he wasn't as in shape as he normally is, but I mean...
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. He played a really great part. He played a really great role. He could have, I think the movie, they did an extremely good job with it. I think they didn't have to go as far as people are thinking they might have went, but it was basically, I don't know if you want to get into some spoilers about it, because if it's on Netflix, most of the people have probably seen it already or are kind of curious, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is all based on true events, things that did occur during this trial, and it got me interested enough now to go and check out the Ted Bundy tapes, which is a series of, like what you said, like 6 episodes or something, where they actually depict a lot of the things that have occurred in this movie. Yeah, which
it's a lot more.
Listen, I'm interested in this kind of stuff, and it definitely got me more interested in this movie. So I mean, if that was the way to kind of get me,
well, you said you didn't think he was that crazy of a guy.
I didn't realize
he was that narcissistic.
Yeah, like it's like I didn't realize that he actually convinced himself that he didn't actually commit the murders. Like a lot of these guys, they're sociopaths and they're smart. Don't get me wrong, but they're normally, at least the cases that I've heard a lot of, they're aware that they're the ones that are doing these things. But this guy had convinced himself, basically, which is really trippy watching the movie, because there's no hard evidence in this movie. You never really see him commit the murders at any point in this movie. They didn't really delve into that.
No, this is afterwards.
Right. So they kind of touch on the fact that, hey, this guy, he's a disgusting human being. Like,
but look at the life.
Everyone seems to be claiming that he's done these things, but you never actually see him commit any of these things in the movie. Even the parts where he did commit crimes somewhere along the line, like after we've actually already been introduced to the character, they cut away from those moments.
Yeah, which was great.
I thought it was really well done. That's what I mean. For me, not knowing anything really other than he's a notorious serial killer going into it, it was interesting.
I think they tried to depict it a lot from the girlfriend's point of view.
Yeah.
At the time, because I think it was more of a love story, the way they tried to play it out. And you know what? If you actually do watch the movie, it is. If you think about it in a sick way, it is. She needed that closure.
Right.
You know what I mean? The whole storyline was based around his relationship with her while he was doing these murders.
Right.
And how she couldn't figure out that she couldn't put two and two together. The only thing she figured out was that he kind of looked like the guy in the picture, right? But I mean, that guy could have been anybody, right?
Yeah, the part I won't spoil is the reveal at the end of the film that's connected to her and him, and she kind of reveals something towards the end of it, which made it was a good twist that I actually didn't see coming. You didn't really know.
I mean, you guys got to remember, this guy lived a life. He had a girlfriend with a kid before that, and he did a lot of that stuff, and he lived that family life and watched them grow up while he was in jail, while he was getting out of jail, and even before, while he was doing the killings. I mean, he's a sick person, but at those times, dissociative, I think it's personality disorder, I think it is. Dissociative personality disorder of some sort.
Well, I mean, he's a sociopath.
He splits himself.
Oh, yeah, split personality. Yeah,
he splits
disorder,
himself from the person he is.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's more so that than actually the fact that he convinced himself that he didn't do it. But like you said, it was almost two different people.
He got to a point. Like, look when he had to escape from jail.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened there? He escaped from jail for what? To kill people, bro.
Yeah.
He had a sickness, man. He just had to.
But the way that they kind of angled it in the film is that he escaped from jail because of the fact that he wanted to see that woman again. But then when he actually escaped from jail during that period,
people died.
He went straight to murdering. He didn't actually follow up with her at all. He kind of just went on the run there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there was more murders that were connected to him during this time. Eventually, when he did end up getting caught again and going back to jail, they had connected all these eventual murders that led to his demise at the end, where they actually finally they
were able to communicate now. He's just on a certain level. He is some sort of, what's that word I'm looking for? He helped the FBI become who they are today. The communications between,
like my other buddy was saying when we were talking about it, he had mentioned because of his connection in helping the FBI to the Green River Killer. Because at the time he which they actually didn't go into in this film, but apparently
because it wasn't really so much that I'm just trying to say. But
you're trying to talk about the way the FBI had to change the way they operate because he was doing crimes in different states.
So
he
and they weren't
actually
allowed
has
to
a big
communicate.
deal. Yeah,
they weren't allowed to communicate really the way they did nowadays,
right.
and everything was a lot slower back then too. No computers, no stuff like that. I mean, he really was somebody who started the way. The whole serial killer and finding serial killers and tracking them in the States properly, and started a whole database, and the FBI was able to create a whole database on how to find people like him, and it's just amazing that he was the person he is. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I'm talking I sound like I'm talking good about him, because he was a sick person, don't get me wrong, but he was a genius. In a sense that, I mean, to defend yourself in trial, dude, in your own murder case, is never been.
I didn't even realize that he was a law student. Like, admittedly, I didn't know too much about the guy, but I didn't know he was a law student. I didn't know he defended himself to the point where he actually stood a chance. It seemed like during this film in trial, like he actually was starting up a very good argument in his defense, whether or not like it was him. Like they didn't have enough evidence. They couldn't really connect him to a lot of the murders until like there was the eventual thing that they did connect him with, which I won't get into. I won't spoil that part of it. But like, yeah, I didn't know all that. Like, and even the way he was a decent looking guy, and that he had all these like actual fans, like younger women that were actually fawning over him, that were following the trial and the support, the support that he actually had from the public.
I mean, get married while you're in jail.
Yeah, like it's insane. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that girl he just reached out to because he needed somebody. That girl wasn't very attractive. He definitely compared to the other woman that he was with in the film, and even in the footage that I saw. So he kind of just reached out to her because he needed to kind of have that image, and he needed somebody on the outside to actually
just think
help
about
him
it.
out.
His bloodline is still out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. His son.
Right.
Yeah, he had a son with a.
It was a woman.
Was it a daughter? Oh, I thought it was a son.
Yeah, it was a daughter.
Okay.
No, so the name wouldn't carry on, but the genes are there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fucked up thing. The genes are always going to be there, somewhere out there in somebody's, kid. You never know who's going to be the next Ted Bundy. But
yeah, the daughter. Yeah, interesting.
That was I don't think that'll ever happen, but it's just amazing to see the way they depicted everything between the two, the tapes versus the
yeah,
movie.
I'm gonna have to watch the tapes.
You should have watched.
I like the film a lot, though. I think Zac
what?
Efron. I mean, if that's what they were going for, to make it seem like, hey, this was a really good-looking guy, and like he actually had people like they picked. At first, I was like Zac Efron. I'm like, why did they pick Zac Efron?
I couldn't figure it out either.
And then if the angle they took in it, I was like, okay.
If you ever look, they did this thing too where they used to say that his eyes, when he became that other person, would turn black. Like, he had these green eyes, that's just the way he was. They would turn black when he was that other person, when he went into that other sense of thinking that, it was weird. And you can, I think they depicted it in film in certain parts, which I wasn't quite sure if that's what they did. I should have looked it up to see if they were trying to go for that look.
Right.
But I feel like they did that for sure, right?
I mean, you only kind of seen him unhinged a couple of times in this film. That's what I thought was the most interesting part about it, because going into it, I know that this is about a notorious serial killer. I knew that much, but I just didn't think they were going to go with that angle where the whole time, even as a viewer watching it, you're on the other side of it, trying to believe his story as well. Like, they made you think, oh yeah, well, I didn't see any of this, so maybe this guy, the only thing I had going for me, like, if you went in this film and you didn't know he was a serial killer that was convicted, and they knew that he killed all these people, the way they made the film and kind of put you in his kind of shoes, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
He's almost like an innocent person.
That's right, and that's what I thought was the most interesting thing about it, because you didn't know that going into this, it was very convincing that the whole time, where maybe this guy didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, and that's what's interesting about it, because that was probably, they wanted to make you feel how most of the general public probably did going into this. Exactly.
Yeah, well, no, and then
because you didn't see him you didn't see him do any of the murders on screen. All you did was see people accuse him of shit and him trying to fight against it. So for everything was pushing you in that direction watching this film, like, this guy is innocent. Yeah. But then meanwhile, you're like, no, this guy isn't innocent, and then he slowly unraveled.
Yeah, he really only got caught.
Yeah.
His face was really only seen once.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it wasn't seen a million times. It's the sickening, but he was good at what he did. And to be honest with you, like I said, the FBI, the communication in between states back then was very bad. You couldn't do anything. So that's why he was getting away with all this stuff. He knew what he had to, because he was in the law. But
that's what's interesting too, because it actually made them change the way that the whole organization operates because of that one case moving forward with the way that the FBI speaks between different precincts and states and all this kind of thing, like, between the cops. Because that was the thing. The guy came forward and he gave his girlfriend a file during the movie that had all this dirt on him, which was like fucking a few states over, which didn't link to, like, they couldn't charge him in the state that he was actually in with any of these crimes. Like, unless
that guy was traveling, remember?
Yeah, and I know that's normally how it works now still. Like, but if there's somebody,
they can make a phone call now.
No, exactly. But there's also the thing about getting charged in different states. You can have charges out on you from a different state in the current state, but they can still connect you to it and you can go to jail.
Yeah, and most lawyers now can practice between states now and stuff like that.
Right, but back then, it was still all being developed. And which is interesting. Yeah, you're right. I think even outside of the actual story about him, everything else going on was very interesting in the film too. Yeah.
He wasn't only a sick man, he was also a smart person.
He's very smart.
And that's the scary thing about it. It's that you can be working with that person.
Yeah.
You can be sitting next to him.
Yeah.
And not even know. You know what I mean?
Well, it's normally the people you don't expect, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, the less people you tell, the easier it is to get away with it.
So I'm going to watch the Ted Bundy tapes, and maybe we can chat about it then at that point. Another one, actually, I saw that just came on Netflix. I actually I watched it on the internet, admittedly, and then it literally came on Netflix like the week after. I was kind of pissed at it. I was like, what the fuck? It's mid-90s.
No.
Did you see this yet?
No, never seen it.
You should watch this. You'll enjoy it. It's what's his name? His directorial debut. Jonah Hill.
Okay.
So it's Jonah Hill's directorial debut. Jonah Hill, you know the actor Jonah Hill, right?
Yeah,
from
Superbad.
Superbad, exactly. So this is his first movie that he directed. He worked on it for a few years. That's why you may have not have seen him as in many movies as of lately. He was working on this, and it's essentially him depicting loosely his life growing up in the mid '90s in LA. Part of the skateboarding scene,
Okay.
and as well as like being into hip hop and that whole kind of thing that was going on through the LA at that time. So it's a pretty interesting film. I really enjoyed it. I think it depicts. I mean, just the time and a place. He's definitely like around my age, so like I didn't grow up in LA, but I definitely grew up around the skateboarding scene. I skateboarded for a while. I was part of that whole kind of thing. Like I was in that kind of stuff, into hip hop at that time, and it touched on a lot of things that I had interest in when I was that age, and it you see it from like I think the kid's like 16 years old in the film, and he starts hanging out with a couple of older kids at the skate shop that's by him, and he starts fitting in with, like, he's at that age where you're trying to try to find out where you fit in with cool guys, the cool crowd, and trying to be part of something bigger than yourself. And he has like a really shitty home life where he's got a single mother, but the single mother's always got some new guy going in and out of there, and his brother fucking beats the shit out of him. He's he's like one of these kids that he always looked up to his brother, but his brother, because he's a little older, thinks he's a dork, and he treats him like shit, and he kind of, you know what I mean, like he kind of just doesn't give him the time of day. But meanwhile, he like at the start of the film, they show him like in his brother's room, just like looking at like all his like CDs and like the stuff he has, and just like like really being into all like a lot of the stuff that he is into, like hip hop and stuff like that. And you could see that it influenced him kind of to be who he is. But it's just it's just one of those sibling relationships where they're just not at that point where they're kind of both cool with each other. And as the film goes on, they definitely they work on that. But he becomes friends with these guys that are a little bit older than him at the skate park, and basically it kind of goes from there. It kind of shows you how they're it's kind of like a coming of age story in the mid '90s around skating, and as well as very hip hop influenced, and it just felt genuine, and it felt it was something that that he probably experienced or was around. And it's not like he made any appearances in the film, and it wasn't, strictly based on him. But there's a guy in the film that the whole time when all this shit's going on, he was basically documenting this stuff with a camera. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was maybe Jonah Hill and that crew of people, maybe as a young kind of person that wanted to be an actor or a filmmaker, that he's basically kind of threw him in the mix there to represent that. So I don't know that to be a fact or not, but it was just towards the end of the film, like you see the guy and he puts in the tape at the end of the film, and he kind of shows you all these things that happened during the film that he kind of caught on camera, right? So it was just a good way to tie everything up towards the end of the film, and it was really funny. Some good new younger actors were in the film, like guys that this was their first film credit.
Okay.
So like because I looked it up, and it just seemed again like really genuine. Like one of the guys, the main kid, who's like the 16-year-old kid in it, is an actual pro skateboarder, like at his age, that he put in the film. So it feels genuine and it feels real, and it's just really enjoyable. And I seen him doing interviews because he went to like all like the like Hot 97. He did all like the hip hop round radio station type stuff to promote this film when he was doing it, and New York radio and all this kind of stuff. And he did like complex stuff, and so he did all these things where he was trying to promote the film through like hip hop areas, just marketing. Because of some of the, they played Cream by Wu-Tang in the film. They do all these kind of things, like, like the music of the time, like Ice Cube and WA, this kind of shit. And basically, when he was promoting it, he had mentioned one of the interviews that stood out to me was that he said when he showed the film to some people, he got some critical feedback about the way that the kids are talking in the film, because they're throwing around like the word fag and gay and this and that, and there's black kids in the film using the N-word and this and that, and he got some criticism from people about that. And he's like, listen, I felt that it was good feedback to get back, but if I went ahead and changed that, about the film, it wouldn't feel real, because that is not how kids talked back then. The way I depicted it in the film is how people were talking back then, and whether or not in today's times it's, you know what I mean, looked down upon or not. If I were to do that, it would be being untrue to myself, and not making the film that actually depicted what I kind of went through and the way that people talked around me. So I just thought that was really cool of him to kind of like stand by that and say, hey, listen, like, this is the way it is. You know, you can't just shy away from something because you don't like it.
Yeah.
If I kind of took that out, then it wouldn't feel as genuine to me, because like, this is not how people talked.
I get you.
So it's one of those things, right?
I mean, have to check it out.
I don't know. You don't seem that interested. You're quite a bit on your phone over there.
No,
like
I'm trying to check it out, man.
I'm
trying to do it. No, I'm just trying to see what it's about, man.
You're Rosenberging me right now.
I wanted to actually add it to my list on Netflix, see if you're welcome or not. But that's what I was
called
trying
Mid-90s.
to do.
It's really, really interesting.
I just seen it, and then I added it to my Netflix there, so you can bug me about it later, and I can tell you about it. It gives me something to watch.
Did you also hear about the recent backlash of the Sonic the Hedgehog film that's been going on? Did you see anything about this?
I never seen the thing, but that's that Sonic the Hedgehog movie. No, I was going to ask you about this Pokemon movie since.
Oh, Detective Pikachu, yeah.
Pikachu.
But Christine's more of the Pokemon fan than I am. I mean, don't get me wrong. I played with the cards when I was younger. I played the video game, but I'm not. To this day, I'm not like a huge, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't collect stuff about it and stuff like that. Like,
I seen that. I didn't know it was the Sonic one. What's this backlash?
Backlash for the Sonic film is they came out with some trailers for the Sonic film. You know, Sonic the Hedgehog. Obviously, that's a Sega game. You probably played that as a Ute.
Wasn't really a big Sega guy, but I more of a Nintendo
Sonic,
and that kind of stuff.
So Sonic.
I think we all know it. Yeah.
They came out with the trailer for the film and some of the images, and he looks fucking weird, man. Like, here, I'll pull up an image for you on the computer in front of us here. Yeah, he just looks odd. Like, he looks thin, and he looks like he doesn't look very cartoony, and he kind of like. So there was a huge amount of backlash from the internet based off of these images. Huh, Sonic? Yeah, but he just looks weird. Like, it doesn't look good. Like, any other version of Sonic has looked good. But when you've seen this trailer, the trailer looks shit, and he looked kind of odd looking. So, like, people are very worried about it. And I think Jim Carrey is doing either the voice of him or, like, Robotnik, the bad guy in it. He's doing a voice in it. I can't remember which one, but there's.
I mean, how are you supposed to make him look, really, dude? He's a fast fucker with a big head, apparently, that turns into a ball.
Anyways, people didn't enjoy the way he kind of showed up in the trailer. And get this, there was such a backlash from the internet and people complaining about this to the point where they probably put, I don't know how much money into this movie. I think it's supposed to come out in September or something, or maybe August, maybe during the summer. And I might have to check my stats on that. And so much so that the actual the film producers they said, hey, they said to the internet, guess what? We've taken into account what you guys said. We're going to change the look of Sonic now before the film comes out.
So they can just switch them up like that?
I mean, that's going to cost them probably considerable amount of money to change the animation, the CGI at this point. But the fact of the matter is, it got such a huge backlash that they were probably afraid that the movie was going to tank when it came out. Because the internet can do that, man. Like, shit.
Yeah,
once they get the ball. No, but here's the thing I don't enjoy. The fact that the internet won. They actually created change to the point where the movie studio went back on what they've already put out there and said, we're going to change it.
You don't see that?
That is not good.
No,
if the internet fucking wins,
that's the way it works.
No,
bro.
but honestly, like, it's going too far now. Like, to the point where, like,
it's technology. It's all on the computer, bro. Everything's everywhere, man.
Bro, all the people that made this film, though, they basically just shit all over their work. They're just like, oh, guess what? We're just going to change it. Like, there's a guy that was probably involved in this process, many of them, in making this film and this image, and he thought it was good, and they signed off on it, and everything was A-okay. They release it, they get such a backlash, they're like, oh, hold on, you guys win, we're going to change everything, back to the drawing board. Fuck that, bro. I would be like, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, after all that, like...
But then your chances of having nobody watch it are going to drop.
Right.
Like, okay, dude.
No, I get it. As a studio, it's a studio decision probably that they had to go back and say, hey, listen, you guys need to fix this. We're going to take a huge loss here. I get that aspect of it. But still, you can't let the fucking fans win. I bet you there's nothing wrong with this movie, but the fact that people were like, "Oh, you ruined my
give it a
childhood.
chance.
Oh, look at this Sonic. It doesn't look good." Blah blah. Blah. And then like that's bullshit, man.
But it's the way it is.
Yeah, no.
It's the way it is with music. It's the way it is with television shows. It's the way what
This is one of the bigger cases to this day, though, that the internet's actually
to change a whole movie.
Yes.
But who's doing the movie?
I mean, I don't know the actual studio that's doing the movie. I can look it up.
I'm pretty sure they can afford it.
That's not the point. The point is that that actually negative reviews before the movie actually even came out has actually,
But they talked about even when Will Smith as the genie for Thing too.
See, look, I'm looking at an article right now. VFX artists explain what it would actually take to redo Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, this is not like a small thing, man. Like, oh man, Paramount. We reached out for clarification from Paramount about whether this was happening or how long it was expected to take, and the studio declined to comment. So yeah, it says, "Thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear." This is probably one of the producers or somebody that works at Paramount. This is what he tweeted. "You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be." Like, fuck.
Dude, it's two big companies, man. They'll do it.
I'm just saying.
They're not going to risk they're losing more money. They're not going to make any money.
This is just the first of many things to come. If they are reeling back this hard from internet reaction on something, I'm just saying
maybe for movies, but I mean it's
good things cannot come of this if people are going to jump at the fact that people are already criticizing something before it even gets released. That's what I mean. Like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're acting like it's new, like that's a new thing. Mm-hmm. Ever since the internet, people have been criticizing.
I'm not saying the criticism is new, but the people actually going. I know there's been petitions that have been signed and opinions have been swayed and things have been changed. But this is a pretty big change, man. Like, you're talking about like every frame of the film where this guy shows up, they're gonna have to digitally alter now to make it look different. This is a huge. I don't think you're seeing how big of a deal this is.
Look, it's probably all. What's a green filtered and all that stuff, so it's probably easy to. It's probably not that hard to change, dude. They're probably talking, even a couple $1 million is not going to be a lot, dude.
So apparently the guy said the Sonic we saw likely represents at least 6 to 9 months of work.
So it gets pushed back.
You still think that?
A couple $1 million, bro.
Work that's now out the window, bro.
Yeah.
This is no.
I understand.
If they took 9 months to build a character, this is a quote. It's 2 to 3 months of reworking before you can even put the character back into shots again. He said, "I can't even guess what's going on behind the scenes right now." So like this is no small feat, bro. And okay, and I was gonna use this to segue into me jumping on my soapbox and saying fuck you to all the Game of Thrones fans. After 2 episodes, Jay, I'm loving a full-on Game of Thrones talk. I'm sure you're living this moment right now because I'm going to say fuck you to all the... Bro, the same type of shit. There's now a petition going around because of the outcome of the last episode when Christina was on, episode 5, and by the time you guys hear this, the show have already been wrapped up, and I'm sure you're going to be enjoying what I have to say about the last episode, a couple weeks from now. But the episode that separated fans so much that they were so divided on about some of the choices that they made for some of the characters' ends and the character arcs about how certain characters turned bad all of a sudden, characters died the way they died, blah 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 blah. Anyways, there's a fucking petition now.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to fucking segue off of this now into this for them to redo season 8 with new fucking writers. That's not how it works, bro. I'm sorry. We can't just air a fucking season and end the show, and then they're going to go back and rework the same fucking season. Yeah, bro. And there's apparently like 27,000... It's probably more now, but earlier today I read there's like 27,000 signatures for this petition already online for them to redo. Like, fuck you to all these fucking asshole Game of Thrones fans. Like, just because you're not happy with what they're fucking doing. No, bro, it's bullshit.
I told you, but Game of Thrones sucked. Sorry. Hey, you don't want to listen to me.
No, the fans suck right now because, you get over yourselves.
I'm not even a fan.
Even at this point, get over your fucking self. That's not how it works. Writers aren't just going to go rewrite a fucking whole season.
Well,
There's not going to be two variations.
I want them to rewrite Sopranos.
You can't live two
You know what I'm saying?
Debatable. I didn't actually mind that ending
You know what I'm-
the second time I saw it. No, I feel differently about it. But at the time, if you were watching that on TV when it came out, I can't even imagine what you felt because I didn't watch it when it was on TV. I watched it when the show was over, and I already knew about the ending. No, that's what I mean. Like
What's a waste of time? Go on.
No,
yeah,
but
man,
I-
that's what
but
you
I
mean
had-
with your Game of Thrones crap.
it was convenient for me because I already knew what I was walking into with The Sopranos. But if I was watching it when it was on the air and that happened, I would feel a fucking way if that's how they ended the show. Absolutely.
Now, are you and Christina on the same side now on this? Or?
She's the one that fucking pointed it out to me at first. She sent me a message about it, like, what? They may redo it. And I was just like, I don't know how she actually feels about it because we didn't get into it. But when I read it, I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked into it more. And I was like, what the hell is this? And there's a petition going around for them to read. Like, what the hell is that, man? Like, you're gonna stay with the show 8 fucking seasons. They're gonna turn around. No. This last season, I don't like how it ended. You're gonna have to redo this.
You know how many seasons there are that I didn't like how they ended?
The nerve of these Dexter.
Saying, bro. They
Dexter is a
talk.
piece of shit at the fucking end. I really enjoyed that show. In the last 2 seasons, they shit all. I walked away thinking it was a piece of shit show because of that. But listen, that's how these things work. Sometimes you may not,
It's the truth, and I'm watching a lot of shows now, and I'm starting to believe that
The
that's what's going to
nerve,
happen,
though,
man.
bro.
They're
The
all
nerve
pieces.
of you fucking whiny ass fan. Oh, it's not, this character doesn't feel genuine. Like, I get it. Listen, I'm the one who was saying it myself in some of our conversations on the other
So,
episode.
what-
You can feel a way. You're allowed to. That's what, we've said it on this cast before. If it sparks a reaction, no matter what you fucking say, like the time when you were going on with that interview and people were pissed at you and people were like, why'd you steal the interview with P that time, this
Yeah.
and that. If it elicits a reaction, a lot of the times I don't fucking care how it goes on, but it at least sparks up the conversation.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you weren't happy about some of the way listen, that's life, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. But the fact that you're going to turn around and say these guys rewrite the whole fucking season.
Told you, bro. There's
The
a
gall.
sense of entitlement.
Fuck off.
You millennials.
Like, honestly, it's crazy, man.
And
Like,
you outnumber. They outnumber
and
us.
the worst part about it is, I don't even think it was that bad the last episode. Like, not to the point where like rewrite the whole fucking season.
Yeah, no,
Did I love everything? No.
No, you said it.
You
You
know,
said what you liked and what you didn't like,
yeah,
right? So
which is fine.
Yeah.
you're allowed to have an opinion on these things, but you can't just fucking rewind the whole fucking shit and say like you rework the whole season. It's ridiculous.
you know what, man? People can get away with anything, and all they got to get is a like and a click, right? And they can get away with anything and bring a petition anywhere nowadays. You don't go out there and sign them anymore. You play. Hey, let's tell these guys to rewrite season. What is it? 8?
Yeah.
Let's tell them to write season 8 because we don't like it, right? And next thing you know, okay, like you said, 27,000 people earlier today had that petition signed or whatever. That's bullshit. They can't. So doesn't mean the writers have to actually go and rewrite it just because
No.
there's a petition.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
But the fact of the matter is,
that they're crying so much about it.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I went from one example that actually did affect the change in the Sonic movie. This is a little different, but it's the same thing, where they're like, we're not liking these choices. But there's shit all over the writers of a show you've been rocking with for 8 fucking seasons. You love it, like it's your life. Like, you love this fucking show. You're such a big fan. To turn your back on it so wholeheartedly like that, obviously people are way more invested than I am, or what I thought imaginable. Like, I knew this was a big deal. I knew there was fans of the show. But to fucking just, you may not be a fan of how it ends. You're allowed to feel that way, but I mean, to turn around and just shit all over the writer's work like that, like,
They just recently did that with the new Star Trek 2 Discovery because they were starting to get too far ahead on where they were, and it was fucking up the timelines.
Yeah.
So now they had to fucking switch it a little bit up, like they were
Right.
traveling through time.
Right. Who knows, bro? Maybe I would feel differently if I hated the last episode as much as everyone else seems to have. But I didn't feel it was out of character for some of these people. I didn't like all story choices they made.
So do you think Christina's on board with that petition?
Probably.
Really, eh?
Probably. I don't have confirmation on that. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
but I mean, the way she
I'm
kind of
just asking.
reacted to it, her general reaction was like, it seems like it would be something she would be on board for.
The only reason I think that I'd be on board for anything like that, and that's not have anything to do with the writers, it's got to do with the the big companies ahead above, they've ripped us off. Come on, dude. They ripped us off so many times with shitty stuff.
Yeah.
So once in a while, let's give it back to them and let them spend some money back.
I'm not totally against some of the comments that are being made either. Let's get that straight. I don't think people are wrong by saying this season was a little rushed, even though they had 2 fucking years. I'm not disagreeing with a lot of people that are hating on some of the endings of these characters. I think it was, there was definitely, who knows how much involvement the writer had in this season. It definitely doesn't seem like he had as much involvement, but the fact of the matter is he hasn't written the last book yet. So a lot of these things that they're doing, the writers are probably just, going off the rails on right now. They're making up their own shit right now, or they're just like, they're getting advised by the writer, but he's like, you know what? This didn't work out that well. I'm going to change it when I actually write the novel. That's the thing. So I think the people that are going to read the final novel when it does come out, I think are going to be singing a different tune, honestly. I think they're going to be a lot more satisfied than the
maybe that's why he's doing it.
Maybe
that's why he's doing it. If he's got a little bit of say in it,
I mean,
he could be fucking with them.
What better a sounding board is there than fucking the millions of viewers that are going to watch this show to get a reaction out of the endings of some of these characters? But then you're not really doing right by your fans either.
Exactly. You're also taking that risk when it comes to finishing the book, right?
Right.
You're also taking a huge risk. You're also
I'm just
thinking,
saying,
fuck,
you can easily be like, oh, people didn't like this character end that I made in the show. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go a different direction with it in the book.
Yeah.
You can easily do that.
Yeah, especially because it's based on a book that's not finished yet, right? So that actually makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I just think it's fucking bullshit.
Are you going to be happy with if anything happens at the end of your...
I've already set myself up with the idea that it's going to be a disappointment, this final show of Game of Thrones this Sunday. I think I already...
Yeah, but you said that already.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you didn't think it was going to be that great, right? But, I mean, there's other seasons and stuff and shows that are ending that used to be your favorite show until this one came out. Like The Walking Dead ending.
Yeah.
You're going to be... You give up on that one. Right?
I didn't even see the ending you're talking about with Rick. I didn't even watch it.
It's not over yet.
I know, but they're supposed to be doing prequels, and they're supposed to do movies now, and all this kind of bullshit, right?
There's a lot, man. There's weird stuff coming out now.
I felt like it was too much.
At the end of the world.
And that's the thing. Even with Walking Dead, I'm more of the fan of the comic. I've always been a fan more of the comic because.
Well, they're talking about going overseas now somehow.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you get overseas, dude?
Well, I mean, in Fear, they did the whole boat thing. For a while, that was working out for them, right? Until, there was too much trouble on the water. Then they fucking went to Mexico.
Aliens will show up sooner or later. Fuck, I don't know.
Well, that was Robert Kirkman's original... Did you ever hear that? Did you hear that when he was on Mark Maron? You said you were listening to his interview, right?
Yeah, but I didn't hear anything about it.
So Robert Kirkman, the creator of Walking Dead, the reason... Some might say... Robert Kirkman, the reason of the popularity of The Walking Dead is one of those rare occurrences when something hits so much, and if you went back, unexpectedly, it was such a big hit, and if you went back and asked the creator of the same thing if you could replicate that, they couldn't.
Okay.
Some things just become a phenomenon, and people don't even really know. It just hits at the right time for some exact reason, and people can't really ever capture that shit again. So. That's basically what The Walking Dead was for Robert Kirkman. And he's written other comics since then that have been good, not great, nothing that hit the public's attention such as Walking Dead did, because for an independent comic, it was selling fucking great numbers previous to it becoming a show. That's why the show was such a success too. But I think because at the core of it, it's really just a fucking zombie story about a bunch of people and just their relationships with each other. That's all it is. And it becomes very quickly not even a story about the zombies anymore.
Yeah, but I never knew where it started and where it ended. It just, all of a sudden there was, I watched the first episode, don't get me wrong, but what happens after? Where's the rest of the world? You're only seeing parts of it, right? You're only seeing, Los Angeles?
Right.
And then I think on the new one, apparently...
You're from the south.
Yeah.
Los Angeles is Fear, I think, isn't it?
The Fear of the Walking
Fear
Dead.
is like Los Angeles.
Yeah, but
the other one
apparently those guys are talking about going
Washington.
over into the water and stuff like that,
okay.
going and taking the ships, right? It's a little different, right? So we'll see what happens if there's boats in that one, right?
Yeah.
But
that's how Robert Kirkman pitched it. He pitched the comic to them at first, Image Comics, and they're like, zombie comic, I don't know, it's going to be black and white, I don't know if it's really for us. He said to them, oh, wait a second, I haven't even gotten to the best part yet. You guys haven't even heard. I'm dropping seeds throughout all the first earlier issues about something that's going to come eventually that you don't know about, and it turns out it's aliens.
Yeah.
That's how you basically said, like, The Walking Dead, it makes you think it's about the zombies, but then the aliens land, and then it becomes a book about them, and then the publisher was like, oh, aliens, eh? Okay, I can go with this, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, 5 issues came out, and the editors came to him, and they're like, hey, we noticed you didn't really put any clues about these aliens that are going to be coming at some point. Like, why is that? Like, he's like, oh, yeah, about that. I just said that so you guys would buy it. So, yeah. He's like, there's no aliens. And they're like, what? But at that point, the sales were progressively getting better each issue that had come out. So they couldn't really pull the plug on it at that time.
At that time, yeah.
It was too late.
Yeah, fuck it.
But believe it or not, one of the most successful things that got off the ground, Robert Kirkman, the creator, had to lie about the initial concept to get them to actually buy into the book.
That's fine.
Isn't that crazy?
But see, it's just the way it is, man.
Right.
You have to pitch whatever you can to sell whatever you can, right? I mean,
sell yourself.
Sell yourself, exactly, man. I mean, he had something worth its while, because look how far it made it.
Yeah, he had a plan. He knew it was going to work, but he had to get them to buy into it.
Sometimes you got to lie a little bit,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you got to push it a little further than you think,
bro.
right?
He sold. Like, what is it called when you actually sell? Like, you had to get like a down payment on your house. Like, he actually
like a mortgage.
Yeah, he actually had to sell that off. Like, he had to put his house up in order to finance the artist to start up this independent comic. Like, when he started doing comics,
just so he had the money.
Because he wanted to be able to safely pay him for several issues of the comic before they actually, because it was an independent comic. They seen all the money that comes from that. That's the way Image Comics works. That's where all the comic creators went in the 90s, all the famous ones from Marvel, and basically started up this company for creator rights, creator-owned properties. Yeah. So essentially, the money mostly goes to all the creators, but if the book fails, it fails with those creators too. So they could lose out on money or opportunities as a result, because Image is just someone that publishes the book for them, but they take very little of the cut of the actual money that they bring back from that property.
Okay.
So Image, that's so when he brought out the book Walking Dead, he had to pay his own artist out of his pocket at the time, because for the first year or two, normally a comic doesn't actually bring in much revenue. Like, especially if it's an independent comic.
Yeah, nobody knows about it. It's a little thing, and there's like I said, a small amount of people that will actually sit there and just go through comics and read comics. Right?
Yeah.
They'd rather watch it like me. I won't go and read a comic. I'll watch it. I've never seen a comic of The Walking Dead unless it's here with you, right?
Right.
But I've never. I'm not sure, right?
Yeah, but the nice thing that worked out about that is the original artist that was on the book for 6 issues. He left the book, but then later had to go to court with Robert Kirkman to basically get some of his creator rights back, because once the book took off and became a TV show, he wanted his name up there
of course,
with him as one of the original creators. Exactly. But he was only the artist for the first 6 issues. After that, The Walking Dead has been over 150 issues at this point with another artist.
Oh, wow.
So, and he's been the same artist on every single issue of that book, except for the first 6 issues with that original artist who shares the rights with the other artists on the property. So he had to go to court with Robert Kirkman, the creator, over this, because he wanted, equal rights, because he did. It's just one of those things that he was at the right place at the right time. They something happened along the way. They didn't maybe agree on stuff, or he couldn't keep up the schedule. He had to step away from the book. Yeah, but at the end of the day,
he's still getting paid.
Exactly.
Is he still getting paid from the day one?
Absolutely. His name's on the starting credits with Robert Kirkman.
Wow,
his name's Tony Moore. If you ever watch the show, it's Charlie Adler and Tony Moore, the 2 artists that worked on the book. Tony Moore did only the first 6 issues of Walking Dead, so the first trade paperback out of like 150 issues. He's the only artist on those 6 issues. He did some covers after that, but that was it. Yeah. And he left the book, but he's still getting paid to this day off that property. This is a man that barely draws a comic anymore because of this, though, because he fucking doesn't need to.
Wow,
It's been such a payday for this dude. He works when he needs to now. He'll maybe do a comic a year or something at this point.
If he has to.
And the sad part is he's a really good artist. Yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, if he wants to at this point, he doesn't need to anymore, right? So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, a little bit of Walking Dead talk for you.
I don't know. I just have to bring you back to that one, and just to see. I wanted to see if you still remembered anything about The Walking Dead since it's been so long.
Oh, sure.
I hear you talking about it.
Anyways, about music, you've been listening to some new albums, though, as always, lately. You listen to the Logic album.
I've
What's
been
it
listening to
called?
something, Confessions of a... What's it called? Confessions of a...
Dangerous Mind. Yeah.
I thought, because I'm still thinking that there's a movie that.
Right.
So, yeah, no, it's...
What'd you think of it? I've never been a huge Logic fan, but I also
Neither
haven't
have
really
I.
listened to a lot of his music, to be honest. So
Neither have I. And,
just here and there kind of stuff, like features mostly. But I've never actually. I
Because
don't
he's
know.
more of an internet kid, and I don't get to stream. I don't stream that stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not. He's a different generation of music than I am. But I started to listen to it. Apparently, I have had a friend that listens to him constantly since day one, and he says he's always been good. And I wasn't into the style. I don't know if what it was. I wasn't getting it. It wasn't. Maybe I just wasn't giving it enough attention.
I think it's for me. I think it's just the things he raps about that I'm not connecting with. Lyrically he's there. He's great lyrically. He could rap really well. Like he has nothing to do with his ability to rap. I think it's just more. I think some of the topics he's touched on through some of it, because a lot of his stuff earlier that I heard was mostly just stuff commenting on the fact that he's black, but he's white, and how he looks black. But how he looks white. Yeah, how he looks white, but he's black, and how it like seems weird because he's saying the N-word, but he's black.
That threw me off in the beginning when I first
Right.
heard a few songs. Right, it did throw me off, but. No, you know what? It's
then
not
he
a
kind
bad
of took
album.
Joyner's whole suicide hotline fucking angle, which is what they kind of beefed over originally, because he said that he stole that idea from him when he went and made the song, because Joyner and him both did, as you recall, in Joyner's first album, he had that song about suicide.
Yeah.
Logic, one of his biggest hits to this day was that song about suicide. So I mean, it was just one of those things where I guess they talked behind the scenes about it prior to that, and he thinks he kind of went up from underneath him and stole his whole idea for a song, kind of touching on that at that time. Which, you know, who's to say that's the true or not? Because that's not like it's something that other people haven't touched on in the past already, right? So. I think it was just that it was the timing that really was bad, right? Like he literally had this conversation with them. He didn't say anything about him having a song that was also about suicide, and then like literally like the next week or whatever, he came out with this song.
With another song. But you know what? This album, apparently people are saying that it's not what they expected from him.
In a good way or a bad way?
I think more in a bad way.
Okay, like his core fan base.
Yeah, I think they're saying more that it's not as dark. It's just him. It's his style. It's him there, but it's
some odd features as well on there.
Yeah, there was some very odd features. They had Will Smith. But I mean,
Wiz Khalifa. Eminem, which is great. That song's great. Homicide's a great track, but I mean, like,
and if you pull
all
it
over
apart,
the map though.
But
like,
if you were to pull it apart, everything in that album, it's weird. It's different.
Right.
It doesn't. Even the Confessions of a Dangerous Mind song doesn't depict what you think it might.
Right.
It's just there. It's not.
What's
he
talking
really
about
confessing.
mostly on it though?
He's just talking about. Now he's still talking about money. He's still talking about his likes. He's still talking about people on commenting on stuff on the internet and certain things like that. It's a lot of internet stuff too, right? That he throws out there, little jabs here and there, and you got to pick them up because they're quick, man, and he's fucking fast. So. If you don't pay attention, you can lose it.
I mean,
sometimes you got to listen to it a few times.
He kept up with M on that Homicide track, man. Like he brought it. That's a sick track. Like I mean, I really liked that one quite a bit.
No,
I thought it was a good showing, and he definitely made his style on that song like a Slim Shady kind of style. You know what I mean? So I appreciated how he kind of went that angle with it. Like he definitely was catering to Eminem.
If you listen to the Eminem stuff, it's. If you pull apart the lyrics, it's more of something that you like. If it wasn't as fast, or maybe if it was to a different beat, I think you probably like it, or you think it's more older bass style stuff. I mean, he's more saying, if you listen to if you actually read the lyrics, I wouldn't be able to tell them to you right off the top of my head right now, because they're so freaking fast. But well, if you actually listen to if you read the lyrics, and you'll see that. It's more of that older style that you like.
No, I can tell from listening to it. Yeah. Like that's, I mean, I do like the song.
And then he was just going off. I mean, he just didn't stop at one point, right? And he actually stopped himself, as you seen at the end of the song, right? He had to
Chris D'Elia, the comedian.
They're gonna have a They're gonna have a battle, eh?
I saw that. Are they actually gonna do it?
I don't know.
I
Why
mean,
not?
Eminem's been one to do these comedy videos sometimes with people, so who knows? Maybe he'll show up.
He's
on it,
he's
right?
always funny. He's always
Yeah.
he used to do those crank anchors.
This is, I mean, if you guys listen to earlier episodes of Late Night Chat, one of our first few episodes, I said, "Hey, Jay, you hear the new Eminem song?" And I put it on that Chris D'Elia clip, the same one he played at the end of the song.
See?
And originally, it just started out as M coming across a video and him commenting on social media to him, like, "Hey, who is this guy?" Like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, like who the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And then
It's it. He probably is the one who was listening to our late night chat that day, and he went looking him up.
really cool that he did. He kind of put him on the song though. Like, and
It was cool. I think he was.
It sounds like he
shocked,
wasn't
too.
aware.
No,
yeah.
Apparently,
he was
according to the internet,
yeah, he said it was
aware.
a big honor and all this kind of shit, right? So I mean, that is really cool. I mean, that's. I just liked it because it is him kind of commenting on his self, and it's kind of it's refreshing to see that he's coming to the realization that he's not like impenetrable to this kind of shit. Because
he's going to be everywhere on the internet
but it's
about him,
right? But it's not only that, because normally most of the Eminem that we would know. May not have taken that joke very lightly to the point where he would have probably went on and made fun of this guy in the past, let's say, and maybe
it destroyed his career,
right? But instead, he kind of took a different route with this one and said, "Hey, you know what? I thought this was funny as well, and you know what I mean. Here he is, right? This is the guy." So I thought it was pretty cool of him to do. Like I liked how they ended the track with that, and even the way that Logic started it with that whole "you came from my balls, man" kind of thing. Yeah,
that was hilarious,
funny.
man.
That's I mean, does that come from the Dave Chappelle joke, or is that more of like, because Dave Chappelle had a joke about
maybe,
that?
yeah, I'm not
in his
sure.
stand-up about how he came from my balls.
But it didn't
like
come.
that.
Yeah, it didn't come. But it didn't come from. It didn't say any.
I thought maybe inspired by maybe though. Yeah,
could have been. I mean,
that's
it could
where
be
I
inspired
took it
by
from.
anything. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I got from it. Unless it's from something else I'm just not aware of. Right?
It was almost as funny as the one on the 2 Chainz album, the $2 Bill song, right at the end when they had that piece in there.
Yeah,
and he's like 10 toes down. I'm always walking 10 toes down. That one was crazy, man.
Yeah,
that's another one when they throw in some little things at the end of the song
I like
that make
that.
them funny.
I'm a big fan of the skit in the middle of a song
Why
and
not,
the end of
right?
a song. Yeah, I've always been a fan. That's why I think Eminem, even when earlier in his first 2 albums when I was younger, I liked how he threw in the little sound effect guys like saying
Slim
stuff.
Shady.
Like yeah. Just like the whole like the Ken Cadiffs popping up during the song, like I liked all that shit. Like for me,
that's what Logic was kind of saying there. He's feeling like the Eminem's coming out, Slim Shady's coming out in him.
It's kind of is refreshing that he's actually referencing some of the shit he's got made fun of now over his career. Because
why do you think he brings up Jay-Z a lot? I'm still trying to figure that out.
I mean, I have my theories on that. If you want to hear,
I don't mind. That's why I'm asking you, because I don't know what people think about that. I haven't heard anything.
For one, I'm thinking he would probably love to do another song with him, and I think he keeps throwing his name out there for some sort of reach out or connection. Because I have the feeling that those two, being as huge rap stars as they are, don't actually communicate with one another. I don't feel they have a relationship with one another. So I think in the back of my mind, I think he's basically not baiting him or he's kind of testing him, but I think he's looking for other lyrical people that are probably on his level at this point in his career.
Like storytelling wise?
Not even maybe just storytelling wise, but somebody that will actually be worth his time to do a song with. Because, like, let's face it, Eminem at this point in his career, he's basically just doing it for his own amusement, it seems like. Like, he only has
he's doing it because that's what he likes doing. It's like
his
being
hobby.
a stand-up comic.
Exactly.
It's like being a stand-up comic.
So at this point, he's really only... That's why I like that he did a song with Joyner recently. He did a song with Logic. Like, he's doing songs with people now, at Royce, again, that he thinks that I think can stand up, like, with him on a song, like, on his level, and will actually kind of bring something interesting to the table, as opposed to... doing a song with a lot of guys that probably are honestly just aren't worthy or his style or on his level at this point. Because realistically, he needs other challenges, right? I mean, he needs something. He's only trying to outdo himself on songs now, it seems. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like every
that's
time,
basically what he's doing.
Right.
He's trying to, and there's nothing to do except. This is why I tell you that the 2 types of lyrics are different. Like, you know how you told me the 2 types of lyrics are different. He's just rhyming so he can rhyme fast because
Right.
he's just trying to get faster and faster just because
Right.
that's what he has to do to
Right.
outdo himself.
But I
Lyrically,
think-
he doesn't have to outdo himself.
Right, he's
I
already
think
did
he
that. The
could.
first 4 albums. Look up the albums, everybody.
know.
Like, I mean, they're there. They're not
I know,
going to.
but
That's not going to change.
I always
anything.
feel like he's
that
trying
body
to-
of work. His body of work is already set in stone to the point where no one can say anything about his past body of work.
No, it's there.
Yeah.
And it's there. And it's
No matter what he's done
exactly.
now, whether or not
And
you're
it's
with
made him
it or
as
you're
rich as
down
he
with
is.
it, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. He's as popular as he is because he is, right?
So,
But
but
no,
that's what I think. I think he's
I
not.
think sometimes he's baiting him, and for some
Yeah,
reason I
see?
think he's baiting him. I just find sometimes that
I think it's more of a collegial, like this is what we do. Like, I'm
Well,
throwing your
they're
name
both
out
on
here.
the same. You know what? They're even both. They're probably on the same money
they-
level too.
But, yeah, no, Jay-Z's more than him. I
Yeah,
think.
but geez, he's got a.
But he's got Beyonce's
Yeah,
money too.
exactly.
So
You know what I mean?
Beyonce's
It's
the-
a little different, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how much is his and how much is Beyonce's. I mean, she's worth a lot of money, man. I mean, he's worth. Don't get me wrong.
Together, they are saying that they're
They're
basically
combined, yeah.
billionaires almost. I don't think they are, but they're almost
Yeah,
like
combined,
billionaires at
right?
this point, which is
But-
insane.
That is, but that's combined also, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't need him, he doesn't need her. That's
No.
why it's kind of funny, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
is.
cool, and it works, right? It seems
Yeah.
to work for them, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like he's trying to bait him all the time, man. I think he's just trying to bait him because
Yeah.
he even outdid him on. I mean, on the last song they ever did together, he outdid it. I think the last song was Renegade, but I don't think there was anything after
They
Renegade.
didn't do another
No.
song after that. Yeah.
And he outperformed. He
That's
out-lyrically,
still a
he was-
conversation with rap fans that goes on to this day is who did out who on that song.
Maybe
right?
that's why I say maybe he's finding
Round
that
two.
he wants to say round 2. Let's see if he can still do it.
But that's what I mean. Like, what's
What's
the
the word-
harm in that? Like, I don't think he's baiting him because he doesn't like him or that he. I think
Well,
it's
I'm
more
not
of
saying
like
that he doesn't like him. I'm just saying maybe he wants to have a song. Like, maybe he's one of. There's not too many guys that can still battle rap either out there. Like crazy battle rap, that old school style.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Right?
I don't think he'd shy away if Jay-Z picked up the phone and called him and said, "Let's do a song again together." Like, I think that's mainly what he's probably throwing his name out there because I don't feel that they have a relationship outside of maybe what occurred years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's to the point now where, like I said, like he's just looking for other people that are on his level to maybe test him or actually, you know what I mean, or give something back to the fans that's actually worth their time, or worth his time, worth so. I think that if they were to collaborate on a song together, that'd be great. But I just think that's the only reason he keeps bringing him up because he's done this shit before about AZ and Nas. He's brought all these guys up in songs before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never did a song with Nas. That would have been cool. It's never happened, right? So not everything comes to fruition, even though he just says it. But sometimes people say things and it actually becomes something. You know what I mean? As a result.
You know what? I want to see an Eminem and Billy Ray Cyrus collabo.
Old Town Road remix.
I'm just having fun. I had a.
Anyways,
No, but
yeah.
what'd you think about all the controversy around the Joyner song?
But the Joyner Devil's Work, we played it on a previous episode, one with Christina as the intro, but we didn't actually ever talk about it on the show. Great song. Now that one I've listened to
Amazing.
more than the Logic Eminem. Yeah, that's a deep song, man.
Yeah,
and
very.
I think there's a lot of thoughts. I mean, here's the thing, and I talked about it on a previous episode of Late Night Chat. I talked about how I didn't want Joyner to become this kind of rapper, the
He's
statement
gonna be.
rapper. No, I know he does it very well.
Mm-hmm.
I've liked every song he's done like this. I just don't want him to get stuck in that box. This is the guy, and we'll get into the comments that were made by someone very shortly here,
Yeah.
Rosenberg. That's something he actually did bring up, and something I will say that I do sort of agree with. Not that I'm not here for it. I'm here for it. I love the song. I'm open to listening to more songs like that where he's making statements on things going on in the world because I like that kind of stuff. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. These deep tracks. I just don't want that to be his only thing. I don't want this to be what everyone expects from Joyner every time he drops a song because he does so many other things really well as well. So that's the thing. But the first album, if you look at it, most of them are story songs. Don't get me wrong; they're all
He's a
different
storyteller,
stories,
and he's
different
going to be
perspectives.
it's going to be controversy to anybody.
And if
to
that's
everybody.
his thing, I'm there for it. I'll enjoy it all the same.
Now
But
his
I just
now the spotlight he's in.
yeah.
Okay, the spotlight he's in when he's getting people like TMZ coming up to him like crazy now.
Right.
He's not gonna he's gonna have to face the facts. He's gonna have to talk, bro. He's gonna have to figure it out. Because you know what? He now that he's in that big of a spot in a position now.
Yeah.
Right? They're gonna be on him.
He knows what he's doing.
Well, he has to be media trained. You got no choice. You gotta be smart. And you gotta know what you're saying when you're ready to talk, right? I mean, there's that clip you want to probably play too. I mean,
if you want to get into it,
TMZ one.
But the song itself, "Devil's Work," I thought it was really really well done. It's essentially which he talks about in the TMZ clip. I'll just play the TMZ clip. He talks about he's in a church rapping in it, and he's drinking a bottle of like Hennessy or something like Cavassier or some shit. Right? Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you about what I think about that situation. What he says about that.
But so there's a clip that came out the other day of Joyner Lucas. He got stopped by TMZ, and in the video he's depicting a lot of people, which he says, "I wish this person was essentially not with us instead of this person," basically comparing the fact that there's lots of great,
why is this person
exactly. Why is there all these great people that are gone, and why are all these pieces of shit still here with us? So there's pictures throughout the church that he keeps focusing on of each of these people as he's rapping the lines that have to do with them. Yeah. With the people that he wished were here and the people that he wishes that weren't anymore. But he's basically essentially, anyway, so here's the clip, and this is his comments about it because he caught some flack. Regarding some of the things that were in the song or the scenes that were depicted.
But I thought a lot before I even seen this clip. This is how I thought a lot of.
Right. Okay, so here we go.
Dude, your music video's causing a lot of controversy out there right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Devil's Work, you got Tommy Lauren tweeting about it. You know, what's your reaction? She says, it was wrong of you to depict her death. What's your reaction?
With Tommy Lauren?
Yeah.
She said it was wrong of me to what?
To depict her death in your music video.
I don't think I depicted her death.
Right.
I think Devil's Work was me talking to God, right?
Right.
We all have our own relationship with God, so that was me speaking to God. I was exercising my First Amendment.
So you don't regret it at all?
Freedom of speech, nah.
Because, the church, did you apologize to the church? The head of St. Peter's Church was upset. They said they didn't know you were going to drink in there.
Nah, man. They knew what was going on.
You don't feel like you have to give them an apology at all?
Nah.
They were in on it then, so...
They knew what was going on.
Okay.
They knew what was going on.
Do you plan on meeting with Tommy Lauren?
As a matter of fact, they got paid.
Oh, so you paid the church, and did they know you were going to, drink in there and curse? Because I guess they were upset that you cursed in there and you drank a bottle of liquor.
I think they was aware.
You think they was
aware? For sure.
Well, everyone wants to know, are you going to meet with Tommy Lauren?
No.
No, why not?
I ain't got nothing to say.
You have nothing to say to her?
Nothing to say to her.
If she's watching this...
Yo, where the keys at? Oh, shit.
Hey.
I be seeing it. Yeah, nah.
Yo, do you have a message for Tommy Lauren?
Get her act together, man. She needs to get her act together.
I don't know why. I don't. The thing I don't understand is why people, when I exercise my First Amendment right and have freedom of speech and say what's on my mind, why it's an issue. That's the same shit Tommy Lauren do. That's the same shit Lauren Ingram do. That's the same shit Donald Trump do. That's the same shit that everybody else speaking about in the song. That's what they've done.
Wow.
Dude, that's what everybody does.
He's not wrong.
I told you, but that's what everybody does. It comes down to when you're talking about your changing the whole Sonic the Hedgehog
freedom
thing.
of speech, yeah.
It's talking. That's exactly what it is. And if you give some people platforms like this,
Fuck,
look,
this
they
is what
give
we're
me
doing
and
right
you,
now.
me
Yeah,
and you a
that's what I
platform
mean.
to fucking
I
bitch and
know.
complain. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's right about
You
everything.
can't single
he said.
out one person if you're not going to
look. The church got paid.
Into it.
You don't think the church knew? Come on,
obviously,
bro. Dude, like, come on. They play stupid because they have to.
These are
it's
just
the media,
these Bible
right?
thumpers that are just trying to make.
No, they're just trying to make a story about anything, bro. And he's not allowing it. He's putting them in their place, and it's true. He's just.
I like how he straight up just says
they
though,
have that
up to
Fifth
this
Amendment
point,
right.
Tommy Lauren reached out to him and he showed the message on like social media about how she wanted to meet with him to discuss
and have a sit down talk.
Oh, this is disgusting! Like, how can you depict me saying you want me to be dead or something? Like, he's just like, okay, yeah, let's meet. And then they get this video. He's like, nah, we're not meeting. He's like, it's a waste of time.
I mean, the way he laid that song out, he's like he was just having a conversation with God. He wasn't talking to them directly.
I know.
He's asking him why this, why that. Not he's asking. He's saying, you should die, you should die, you should die. No. He's saying, why? You can take this guy, you can take this guy, if you want. But why did you have to take these guys? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I like the thing he says about Trump with too much power for a coward.
Yeah.
With no intellect.
I
thought that was crazy, bro. That line there is so true. Because look what the fucking guy says on the internet all the time.
Yeah.
And he can say whatever he wants.
Well, that's what I mean. He's like, look, there's way more important people that are like, just because, you know, I don't agree with it.
It's because he's a black guy? Because he's a black guy, bro, singing rap music. That's why they're going to come after him. That's what it is. It's all it's going to be. And it sucks that if, unfortunately, our world's is still at that point where it's so divided, especially in the States.
Yeah.
When it's coming to all these topics that they're talking about, especially in that song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I have no problem with anything he did in that video personally.
No,
and I agree with him that it's a waste of time.
Watch it over and over again.
I think it's a waste of time. So if you guys haven't watched the video, it's Devil's Work by Joyner Lucas. We've been telling you about this guy for a while. I mean, I would love to go see this guy in concert next time he comes to Toronto.
I would like to see. I would like to see if he did have a conversation with him, because I still think he'd tear a new asshole.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where he mentioned it, not on here, but I think he mentioned it somewhere else, where he said other people have met with her. It's a waste of time. She basically just...
Well, he did. He said, that there's other rappers that when they all basically she just made them look like idiots.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that she was still...
I got you here to fucking defend yourself. And you're like,
why should I stoop down to your level, he's saying. He's just talking.
Yeah.
He's making music, man. Anybody can make music, bro.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about anybody out there can do whatever they want.
Yeah. So, good on him by sticking to his guns and kind of, letting the people know, like, this is just how I feel.
I can't wait till that album comes out, man. Whenever the fuck it comes out.
What a great song to finally put out, though. We've been bitching about it for quite a while, how nothing was dropping, but... I mean, this will get me good for like a month or so, but then I need that album. You know what I mean?
Did you see that? Yeah. Did you see? He's with some heavy duty security now.
Yes.
He's not with any small little
look
guys.
at what's going on,
man.
right? I mean,
it's been ridiculous.
These people are depicting as death threats, but listen, the song's blowing up in the way he wanted to because of this. So, like, I think. Just like same way he made waves with when he released "I'm Not Racist," it got him to the music awards. Now he came out with this one.
That's what he had said in one of his speeches. One of the things, if he didn't, he came out with "I'm Not Racist" for a reason.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I mean. Then at the same time, like I said, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm a fan of all this. I'm just saying, I just know he can do other things just as
well,
good.
He's not going to put controversial songs like that, I don't think, all the time, dude. I think most of them are going to be. But right now...
But he has tried other things, so I can't really say. Like, he tried the Chris Brown thing, it just didn't hit. It didn't work. And he tried other song. That I Love song was not that great. It was okay.
But it's almost like they're expecting him to say that kind of controversial
stuff. So, you know what? Maybe I'm just speaking out of it. I just didn't...
But maybe they're expecting him to keep coming out with controversial stuff.
Anyway, so then there's the other controversial thing that came up with him recently is when Paul Rosenberg on our favorite show that we love talking about here, Hot 97, had this to say about Joyner recently in his last appearance here. I think it was like a couple of years ago. I've seen this interview before. I think this is when his last album came out, this interview that they're referring to. I've seen this
That's
video
when he
before.
was actually fucking with the phone?
Yeah, because I've seen this. I'm pretty sure it wasn't it may have been a recent interview, but the only other interview I've seen of him on Hot 97 was one from a couple of years ago, and I think that's why he hasn't been back to the show. I think that's why this came up.
Oh, okay.
Because I think he was kind of doing the rounds.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out why.
Because he was kind of doing the rounds because of this recent song that came out, and I think they were referencing Rosenberg brought it up, and then they discussed it on the show, and then he commented on it, and then Rosenberg commented back, and kind of went a little bit back and forth.
Back,
So here we go. So here's Rosenberg's comments on Hot 97 about his new song.
From New York and on the new Hot 97 app, Ebro in the morning. On Hot 97.
Yo, it's over, Rosenberg. She's a star now. That's it. She's here to stay. And she's like 24 years old. And young Tony Lawrence is here to stay. And espousing opinions that are just ridiculous. Uninformed, ridiculous, moronic, cancel opinions.
I think at the end of the day,
cancel her.
Hashtag? All of the individuals that are either corresponding with her via social media and her also, they're all part of the same chase.
Clout.
To be known, controversial, all of that.
Well, and you like this record.
I do.
I don't like it.
Really?
It's like the black or white video. I just think Joyner Lucas, when he does these videos that are themed, they're contrived to me.
Go ahead, play it. Cash, you got it in there?
He's a rapper.
Yeah, I got to download it.
No, we'll get to it in a second.
Are you close? Are you like within 10 seconds?
I got it, yo. We actually have Wi-Fi now here at 97.
Oh, okay, good. You got it.
Yeah, Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Get out of here, wildin'.
Nah, look. Nice.
Yo, man, Jordan Lucas is dope to me, man. I like the tune. Rosenberg's not quite sure.
Well, now listen, the beat build and the way it comes in is hard. I just think the theme is like so obvious and weird of like, this person shouldn't have died. This person should instead.
But I think there's genuine in the sense that there's been a lot of death that we've had to report over the last several weeks. And you're like, I think a person could be sitting around like, yo, why are all these people that are doing dope work being taken, and there's all these horrible people chilling on my goddamn TV every day?
You don't think that's the most obvious thought that all of us have every single day?
Maybe that's why people would like this song, because now they hear it on the radio and they're like, I'm not alone.
Let's see what Shawnee
thinks. It's the
thinks.
power of music, man.
Power of music. I do like the beat build, though. It's tight.
Let's see what Shawnee thinks. Shawnee's hip-hop.
Yeah, man.
See, listen.
Speak on it, God.
Shawnee. Have you changed your tune on this record, though?
No. There are things I like about it, and there are things I don't like about it. But
why are you so hard on it? Your expectations are very high for Jordan Lucas.
You made a good point, though. It provoked me. So
it compelled you to debate and have other feelings.
I didn't like, even though I agree with all the people he hates in the video. I know this sounds very, to me, this sounds very like Black Church of me. I just don't like the image of putting people who aren't dead having their pictures on a coffin. That's just a lot. I even though I hate Laura Ingraham, she's a horrible person. We know what I like to do to Laura Ingraham? Slap a pie in her face in public. Like, I would love to do that. I would really enjoy it.
Yeah, we're just not wish death on.
I just can't. I can't put the picture of them on a coffin though. It just.
See, I haven't watched, and see, you've watched the whole video first.
Yes,
I didn't see the video. I only saw a snippet on his page, so I haven't even seen the whole video.
But then what really, then the thing that really catapulted me to talking about on the air, which of course has only been positive. He won't hear about that. I'm sure he'll only hear the negative part and us playing the whole song.
Well, he'll only take what you're saying negative, and he'll hate your guts.
He won't care. He already hates my guts. He won't care that we play the record at 7:45 on a weekday. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he already came for me recently, too.
Oh.
Because I looked at my cell phone once during an interview.
Oh.
He said he won't do interviews anymore because I disrespected him. Because I looked at my cell phone. So I wanted to get the date that his record was released, so I opened up the Wikipedia page. But
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
it was a thing.
I never responded to it at the time. It was in December. I started getting Google alerts while I was home for the holidays that Jordan Lucas had ripped me because I looked. Yo, his team called me and was like, "Yo, Rosenberg, listen, man. There's a part in the interview. I don't know about your video team, like if they're not doing their job, but they showed you on your cell phone during the interview." I was like, "Did I make a phone call?" They were like, "Nah, like you're like texting or something." So I hit up Louis. I'm like, "Louis, can you scan this interview real quick?" Louis finds 1 second in the interview where you see me go and look at my phone and keep talking. And I remember the moment. I was trying to get a date right on when he'd put out I'm Not Racist or something like that. I think of myself as radio first, not on camera first. So I'm just thinking I'm not thinking about being seen.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Your man Joyner said, unprofessional people like Peter Rosenberg, I won't.
I guess I haven't seen the videos of you watching full soccer games during an interview.
Joyner, you thought that was bad. We did an interview once. It was World Cup. Rosenberg wouldn't even. I was like, yo, you really gonna do this?
I never put
All right. You get the gist of it. Those guys, honestly, as much as I hate those guys.
I'm with Ebro on that one, bro.
Yeah, but as much as I hate those guys, they work well off of each other, these two. Because even though Ebro is playing the devil's advocate, I like this dude, this is good, and he's like got an opposing opinion, it's much more interesting to be like that, to amp each other up as opposed to them both saying, I like the song, or them both saying, I don't like the song. So you can never believe these fucking guys because Ebro's a troll himself. Like, these guys troll all these fucking guys all the time, right? But that's what I mean. I'm just saying, whether or not he's acting like he likes the song, for all we know, Ebro could fucking not even like the song. He's just trying to do that.
He's trying to copy my beard now with the gray. Did you see that?
Anyways, I'm with Ebro on that one too. Actually, to be honest,
it's
fuck
music.
Rosenberg,
it's
man.
the music, dude. It's just music. That's what it is, man. And Rosenberg, if he doesn't I understand a point where he's coming from, but if that's your personal opinion and you don't like to depict people's pictures on top of a coffin, that's your personal opinion.
Yeah, doesn't make the song not good.
No, exactly. It
doesn't
make you not like it.
He said it provoked provoked me. It caught me him feeling a way.
Well,
about
he
it.
said
So, like, I think
he said
that's,
that he
that's
liked
art.
the beat. He liked the beat, right?
Art.
But he didn't like the.
No, but that's art, bro. Like that's what I mean. Like it made him feel something. That's what I mean. Like, and that's the point of it, right?
That's
and
the whole
like,
point
so,
of music.
like, you can't say that the song is not good. It made you feel something.
He
right?
said he didn't like I'm not racist.
I mean, he's throwing a lot of shade there, man. He's talking a lot of shit there.
Is.
I think Rosenberg. I've said it for a while. Like he needs somebody to punch him right in the face. Like he needs a good schmack. This guy. I mean, both these dudes too. They both equally talk shit. These guys on Hot 97. But he sounds ignorant as fuck right now. They're saying like he doesn't like you'd be a fan of not a fan of the song, but to say that like. You know what I mean? Like it's trash, or he doesn't agree.
Yeah,
with,
because
like,
he doesn't agree with his own opinion. He's got his own opinion, just like Joyner has his own opinion of what he thinks, right? So we're all allowed to have our own fucking opinions.
I will say though, no, I'm just saying fuck Rosenberg because I want.
No, yeah, fuck him. I don't like him either, dude. I'm not a big
He's
fan.
He's an aggravator, bro. Both these dudes are. I've said it for a long time. These guys, they just like to push buttons.
Sometimes they don't even look like they're in the fucking same room, man.
Yeah.
Right?
The thing I will say about that though. Is Joyner Lucas kind of you retweeted this too on your Twitter. He kind of had some response to this, kind of him making these statements. He said, I quote, I woke up early as fuck to go to your station to give a solid interview as you sit and text more than a handful of times right in my face, Rosenberg. How are you mad at me because I felt disrespected at the lack of respect you showed me? Treating artists like we need you in 2019. And then he said, stop it, bro. Do me a favor and find the original footage, because the footage that he put out is what he's claiming in this interview is like a minute of him, like a second that he looks at his phone, and Joyner's trying to claim that.
It was a lot more.
Yeah, which I believe, because they can cut the shots up very nicely.
Oh, yeah,
in the studio
easy.
there. As you said, they're going back and forth. It doesn't even look like they're in the same area.
No, it doesn't, obviously. At one point, like, all three of them, they look like they're somewhere totally in a different room.
He said, do me a favor and find the original footage of the interview and keep the cam on you the whole time. You was on phone at least 10 times texting while I was talking, so yeah, I felt disrespected. Release same interview, but keep cam on you the whole time. Bet you won't. And at this point, that hasn't been released.
Exactly.
So
you don't know. Sometimes it's just for their controversy, too, for their...
Yeah. I will say this about Joyner, too, just to, again, play devil's advocate in the situation between these two. He definitely, I feel, has a chip on his shoulder, though.
Of course he does.
This is not the first time where I felt... because even on the old Complex show that Joe Budden had, he came on as a guest, and when they kind of got into the reason about him and Logic beefing and some other kind of shit that was going on with him at the time, his explanation didn't really seem like that big of a deal for him to feel the way he did about whatever went down between those two.
Some people are just cranky about little things,
He's definitely
things.
One of them. I think.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like that. I mean, and they're just they'll take the littlest thing and they'll make it into a big deal, even though it's not really a thing.
Yeah, mounted out of a molehill or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, big deal. He's looking at his phone. I was looking at my phone. You called me out on it. What the fuck, right? I mean,
well, I was just trying to tie it into this.
I get it, right?
I know what you were doing.
You were doing the same thing Paul was right now.
You kind of need to do that though sometimes during these interviews, though, right?
No, exactly. And I mean, I can understand if he's trying to look up what the release date on one of the albums
check his stats, bro. That's what I mean. We do it a lot of the time on here, right? But I also can understand Joyner being somebody who knows his worth and feels importantly about what he does enough to say, hey, I felt disrespected.
Well, he's probably put a lot of work into where he is right now.
He felt disrespected, but the fact that Rosenberg's just going to deny it is just a whole other thing, right? So
that's what I mean. And he's put a lot of work into what he's done and made it to this point, right?
He could have easily behind the scenes been like, you know what, bro? Yeah, I was on my phone a bit. This is what was going on. Sorry about that. But instead, he said he didn't say anything. He let it build up to this point. He kind of was just like shrugged it off. Yeah. And now fucking he's making
media out of it.
Yeah, making media out of it, talking shit about his newest song that he
he feels doesn't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
So like
it's all it circles back around, right?
Right.
And
it's all like
helps.
a calculative move. It seems like on his
part. Who knows?
Right?
Maybe they're working together. Everybody's all working together.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have to go to the washroom there? It looks like you have to piss.
No, I'm good, man. What's up, man?
You're a little fidgety over there.
No.
You're Rosenberging me?
My phone's over here, man. I'm not doing nothing.
Anyways, so we both feel the same, it sounds like, on this one.
Yeah, I totally understand. I totally agree with you on that one, man. Yeah. I think that, he's got to just take it for what it is. Yeah. I mean, people are on their phone all the fucking time, man. It doesn't matter.
It's not just that. I think he comes off poorly when he kind of reacts to this kind of shit in a way. Like, even though Rosenberg's obviously the asshole in this situation, if this story is true, him caring so much about it also doesn't paint him in the best of light. Like, who the fuck cares? You can
Eminem would have just made a song and destroyed him.
Yeah, well, I'm just one of those things, though. Like, yeah, well, his brother's his manager, so yeah.
Exactly.
That'd be interesting.
That would be fucking interesting, eh? No?
But I appreciate that he speaks his mind and he has an opinion on these type of things. As you know, he's a very opinionated guy, as we can tell through all these songs about the great videos and content he's producing. Anyways, but ADHD, bro. Like,
I can't wait, man. I'm fucking still waiting. It just keeps showing me merchandise.
You listeners better get ready to listen to a bunch of talk about that once it drops here on the show, because we're big supporters of him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, and I guess with that, unless you have anything else to add, we'll get into the last segment here, Way Back Playback, for you guys.
Let's hear where your Way Back Playback is for today.
Yeah, time for me to depress everyone again.
Oh, here we go. Make us all sad.
So, yeah, to continue my whole Joe Budden kind of walk through his career that I've been doing on this show to kind of educate the listeners and JT here.
No, it's educate me. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to educate me. He's not trying to educate anyone.
Lump in everybody else there with you. So basically, we've been talking about the last song we played was a song from Mood Music 2.
Yep.
And now I'm going to play a song from you for Mood Music 3, which is arguably the best of the Mood Music series, which I think he released 4 for. 4 is not really as much worth mentioning. I kind of skipped over 1 as well. I think 2 and 3 made the biggest impact on his career. So instead of kind of just giving you a song from like every album he's released, I'm kind of jumping around in time to kind of give you an idea of where he was at behind the scenes at different points in his career. But Moon Music 3, I think, made probably the biggest impact on his fan base and the internet even at that time, because Joe Budden, back in the day, he started the Joe Budden like chat boards, like Joe Budden TV.
Yeah.
Joe Budden TV was something he started doing on YouTube when he posted YouTube videos. He was one of the early adopters, even back then, of media content. And people that didn't follow his career for that long, like, that's where his fan base lived. He was one of the earliest adapters of that. When you see today, there's so many internet rappers. Like, Joe Budden was a guy that used to belong on a label, but then when he left Def Jam, and that ended badly, and he created an underground fan base with the mixtapes, he actually created an internet fan base as well at the same time. So, like, I give credit to him for doing that. I was one of those guys, man. I was one of the guys that was on the message boards early back in the days, Joe Budden. I was on the Joe Budden. And at that point in my life, like at work and even behind the scenes sometimes at home, like it was a good group of level-minded people. It was the one time, I know it sounds weird and odd maybe now to people, and even it did to me towards the end of me kind of frequenting some time on the boards there. But there was a lot of like-minded folks that used to frequent that board that, like, at one point I called like friends on there, like regular posters that were on that board, because of the content of a lot of his music, because it was kind of more deep and it kind of dealt with different topics of depression and things like, and real life shit that people were going through. But a lot of the time we just went on the boards, we made jokes. It was a good place to get new music from. People just fuck around, put up memes or like troll on people, and they would go into like these chats, like webcam chats, and they would do raids. They would do these things called raids, where a bunch of these guys. The group was basically, he called them, Joe Budden, his internet soldiers. They were it was basically his internet fan base that actually lived on those chat boards back then, Joe Budden TV forum.
Okay.
And for me, at that time in my work, I had a job where I was essentially behind the computer all day, but not really doing like work where I couldn't like, it was basically just processing stuff all day on the computer. So I had a lot of downtime in between all that. So I was able to, at that point I signed up for the Joe Budden TV forum, and I would chat there and make posts throughout the day at work, like Monday to Friday frequently, and
nice.
That's where I first actually I wasn't doing much work at that time, mainly. That's when I actually first connected with people and actually started making and collaborating with some people for my music I tried to do back in the day.
We'll have to bring those for you way back.
Sure. Your call, man. I don't want to subject people to that unless, you know.
You got control over there, but that's the problem.
But yeah, that's where I met a lot of people that were trying to make their own music and stuff. That's where I got, like, I was put on to a lot of new people's music.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Mood Music 3 came out. It was during that time where I was still, like, probably just after it came out, I started going on the forums and stuff like that. So it was one of these things, people would make threads on the forum, like, what's your favorite song on Mood Music 3? And there'd be arguments back and forth between people. Like, people would make cases on stuff, and we'd really delve deep as fans of this guy's music and of other rap music at the same time. So it was just like a good community. Really a lot of cool people. Some that actually follow me on social media to this day from back then.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. So no one I really met, I think, in real life. It was just all internet
just
friends, right?
Yeah,
so
I was listening.
Anyways,
chit-chatting.
Yeah, so Mood Music 3 happened around that time. And like I said, it made a big impact on his fans and brought a lot of more new fans to the table as well, and his internet presence was at an all-time high. And this number 3, he was just like really down in the dumps behind the scenes in his life. Like, there was a lot of depressing ass topics on this tape for sure. But the song that's my favorite song off this tape is probably one of the still top 5 Joe Budden songs, or any fan who actually was a fan of him during this time knows, is All of Me is the name of the song. And it's just a song where he basically goes through all this shit that was going on in his life, including beefs and falling outs he had with his friend Ransom, who was also a rapper at that time, who he used to be part of a rap group with early in his career called the A-Team, which is, we were playing some of the music when I was testing out the speakers earlier today. And at this time, they actually released disses out back and forth against each other. There was a publicized video that hit the internet where Ransom showed up to one of his friend's house that was not involved in the beef at all, and basically he opened the door and he fucking, like, slapped the shit out of him, and it was, like, on the internet, and, like, he had to, like, after that happened, shit escalated. Apparently he met him somewhere, like, a gun was pulled out, like Joe Budden, like, and like it was a whole thing. So then once that happened, Ransom shortly went to jail after that for something else. It wasn't tied up with this, but all those videos got removed from the internet. Like, there was videos where they were releasing, like, there was a video where him and a bunch of his boys, Joe Budden, showed up somewhere and they were filming themselves talking shit, like, outside of, like, Ransom's place, like, he basically, like, seen him, like, on the block, and he, like, booked it, like, he ran away.
Off, eh?
And then, in retaliation, Ransom went to his buddy's house, and that's when he slapped the shit out of him on camera. So there was, like, real shit going on behind the scenes at that time. And then, even in this song, he comments on that. He comments, like, on a bunch of things. But it's, like, with a weird, somber kind of, like, you'll hear the beat. I don't know if it's going to be your favorite beat again, but it's kind of just like a laid-back kind of somber kind of sounding beat. So you'll hear what I mean. But it's just one of those things. If I'm not going to play the whole song because it's like a 6 or 7 minute song here, but definitely take the chance if you like what you hear, some of the shit he says, to take a moment and listen to it outside of this, because I think there's a lot to unpack in this song. And if you like a story, this is the song for you. Like, this basically explains, like, a lot of shit that was going on in his life at the moment. So yeah, here, All of Me, featuring Imani, which is the guy who's singing the kind of backup. He's a friend of his, kind of like more of a R&B soul type singer. So
cool.
Give you my all, but it seems like that's not enough. Letting you get all of me. Gotta be the change from what I see. Is this the way it's supposed to be? Are you in that mood yet? One more get. Are you in that mood yet? Look, they say tomorrow's not promised, but if it was, I wouldn't get open, wouldn't get soup, them shits was made to be broken. Remember coming up, dudes talking about hoes boasting. I was just a juvenile moving in slow motion. I dropped out of school to be a dude with man jewelry. Once I got it, shit wasn't even cool to me. I
I dreamt of condos and video vixens until I learned most of the girls in videos is pigeons. I just wanted the world to see that I was for real with it. Wanted a deal, I got it and couldn't deal with it. I want me and my old homeboys to still kick it. I wish they saw me as mouse and not a meal ticket. Let the beat play. I wish I could see a day with no he say, she say. Just wanna see Trey. Wanna play the good and not fuck with the toasters. A middle child. Wish me and my brothers was closer. I wanna scream at her, catch myself before I start to. And then remember, it takes two people to argue. All she do is provoke me. All I do is diss her. All I did was shake her. She say that I hit her. She just taking everything I say out of context. I'm trying not to black. I'm like a nigga with a complex. Was mad as a fuck. Didn't even show it. Yesterday was better off. Didn't even know it. Complete role reversal, so it's useless these days. TV got real. Music went bing, bing. Please help her for God's sake. When I proposed to the game, I figured life was merry. 5 years later, I'm feeling like Tyler Perry. Maybe I'm exhausted, maybe I just lost it. Maybe I should pick up a pen and try and force it. Same old story, guts and no glory. They try and lowball me, do 'em like Joe Torre. I reintroduce myself to the world, I'm yours. I'm an artist, I paint pictures, I don't rhyme words. More than a rap, I pay attention to detail. But how I do in retail tells me if I prevail. Leonardo ain't see these trials and tribulations. Foul situations with some else stipulations. I feel like being an addict is a curse. There's something about dude that makes bad shit worse. There's three types of niggas in this world, you know. So you either gonna make shit happen, watch shit happen, or not know what happened. And so I couldn't just sit there like a fuck rapping. This dudes with problems I couldn't imagine having. If I had to have them, I couldn't fathom me lasting. Like I used to bump into Tammy in the club. A few of them, she even helped a nigga get in. See a person long enough, you know you bound to get fly with them. Care for them, be more than high and vibe with them. It's been a while, I can't front like I ain't phased. She was my reality check, cause we the same age. I mean, she put on a show that you can't stand. She made the shit sound effortless. I was damn near in tears checking my messages. I got goosebumps all over my skin. She said, Mouse, I highly doubt that I'll ever see you again. Hope everything is well, kid. You see, I'm just finding out I had a brain tumor, but I never felt it. The doctor's giving me 3 weeks to live, not 3 weeks till I die. That's 3 weeks to give. I just wanna tell you that I love you and I care. I wish you all the best throughout the rest of your career. And then she broke into tears. I pressed 7, took the phone from my ears. Sometimes the simplest of things.
All right.
Nice. Different.
Jay?
You know what? I mean, I like the beat. I don't mind the beat at all. It's,
okay.
It's just the type of beat you gotta listen to when you're by yourself. You're not gonna play it in your car, full blast.
Yeah, this is not a jam out song. This is the one where you listen to yourself when you're contemplating about stuff and things like that. Like,
jumping off a bridge or something.
I mean, that was only 3 minutes of like a 6.5 minute song.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, what did you think? Did you connect or listen to hear any of the lyrics there that you enjoyed? Or
yeah, it doesn't seem like a bad song. Like I said, I was getting used to the beat. The way I do it is I hear the beat and I try to put the music to it afterwards.
Yeah.
Right, because you gotta kind of pick them both apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta kind of. I mean, there's a lot of work, like you said. There's a lot of stuff to pick apart there, and that's.
There is. You gotta listen to it a few
fucking
times.
2.5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
If anything, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's not something you're gonna play at loud volumes.
No.
It's nice to have in your headphones, listen like that, something like that when you're walking around.
Yep.
Working. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
Take a listen.
Anyways, all right, guys. Extra late night chat, extra late night edition of Late Night Chat for you guys here. It's
always
just
a late night.
Just past 2 in the morning today, as we're recording this, and extra long episode too. So we're gonna see how much is left on the after the cutting room floor hits this one. But I think there's a lot of good stuff here, Jay. I think we did a good job tonight, and thank you once again to all the listeners,
everybody that's out there and supporting. Thank you so much, and for all of you that aren't. Fuck off.
As always.
As always. That's
all
my
right.
line. I told you.
What's that?
That's going to be my line from now on. For all of you that don't, fuck off. That's it.
The only problem with that I've always saw is when I say that is that the message won't ever get to them because they're not listening.
They're not listening, exactly. So I'll have to start it off with that.
So it's almost like you're telling the listeners to
welcome
fuck
back,
off.
everybody that's listening. And those who aren't, who are just about to click off.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you next time.
Adios.
Fuck it, I'ma hit them till they jumping. I ain't tripping, this is nothing. I've been living in the dungeon. I done held a couple grudges. What the hell I got a jack to meet the devil? I'm a cousin. I ain't settling with nothing. Got a medal in the truck and keep it semi when I'm busting. Niggas ducking. Niggas Stevie Wonder couldn't see it coming. I ain't judging. I just want the money. I don't need a budget. I've been hungry. I ain't got no oven, but I got the munchies. Nigga, how you gonna move on the front line? If I don't fuck with you, I just cut ties. My high school teacher said I'd never be shit. To that bitch that I turned out just fine. And no, I don't know you for the 12th time. We do not share the same bloodline. You let her run your mouth like a tough guy. Hope you keep the same energy when it's crunch time.
According to the American Psychiatric Association, it affects roughly 8% of children and 2% of adults. Commonly believed to only affect boys because they are perceived as rowdy and rambunctious.
One time for them praying on my downfall. 2 times for them bitches in the South Shore. 3 times for them days on the block getting chased by the cops like a motherfucking outlaw. 4 times for them days that were all bad. 5 times for the bitches who ain't called back. 6 times for the kids like me who got ADHD just to...
Me and Jordan need a couple hearses. Double homicide, kill the beat and the verses. Everybody living on the surface, but we came from the underground, yeah, we deserve. What's beef? Beef is when you murder motherfuckers on the beat. Kill them all, nah, what's beef? Beef is brothers dying over shit that never mattered in the first place. Lying in the street, what's peace? Peace is when you leave it in the past, let it heal like a cast. When enough time passes and you blast. Kinda like John Wick, bars like a convict. Fuck around and you don't wanna start shit. Woo! Coming with the hot shit, all they do is talk shit.